Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Saturday. This is Game Day Live, coming to you live from outside T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network as the Devils take on the Golden Knights of Vegas today at a Sunday matinee.
Yep.
I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Short Scott Beer Baron and Vinny Parisi in Chicago, Illinois. Vinny, how are you, my friend?
Doing well, guys. You look good. You picked a good spot.
Yeah,
Very happy that you guys are there.
Yeah, this
it's much
is
warmer there than it is here.
Well,
it's pretty chilly here.
It's a little chilly here.
Surprisingly, it's pretty chilly.
What's the temperature out there in Chicago, Vin?
We are currently sitting at 37.
Okay, it is warmer
definitely
here.
warmer,
It's
yeah,
warmer,
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It is still. You know what though? This is. I'm having arena envy right now because this is one.
Yeah.
It's my first time here. My first time in Vegas. Period. And this is. My sensory overload is like
everywhere.
My brain is about to explode.
Too many things going on.
There's a lot going on.
The atmosphere here is electric. I mean,
cool.
it's amazing. It's such a cool setup that you have the casinos and all these things around you. These awesome bar over here, like a hockey centric bar. I mean, this is like a fan's dream.
It is.
It really is.
I would expect nothing less from Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, 100%. Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, what we said before, complete polar opposite experience from yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's hope the result at the end of the game is the polar
different,
opposite than yesterday.
Yeah, I would like a better result today.
But going from the mullet and then going to here, it's just wild.
It's night and day.
Night and day.
Yeah. It's definitely night and day. But this is cool. I mean, it steps away from where we're staying. It steps away from a lot of beer options. Like, this is just, it's everything.
And happy St. Patty's Day.
And happy St. Patrick's Day to you too. And happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone out there. Vinny, happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well.
Yeah.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. We dyed the river in Chicago green yesterday. It was a big party downtown, and I'm happy to see you guys are wearing your green today, looking good.
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir.
Absolutely. So this is going to be a difficult game today.
Yep.
However,
Yep.
the Devils tend to play up to their opponents, which just still blows my mind, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they do that again because they certainly did not play well last night.
No, they did not. And they, even the coach called them out after the game and said that they were immature. Now, what he's referencing, I don't think he's going to go and fully say in the presser, but he's definitely, I'm glad he's saying that kind of stuff because it felt like with Lindy Ruff, there's always like an excuse, right? Or it felt that way. It felt like, yeah, we played hard, but whatever, it's the reporter's fault. Or, we had a good go at it, but it just wasn't our night, or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Green called the guys out on the carpet and said it was like just in an immature game, and it was the results were what they were.
Yeah.
They were in a position where they could have put themselves, at least stayed 4 points out or, kept themselves in that position and not have to find themselves now 6 points out.
Yeah.
So it was frustrating. I was very, as we well know, very frustrated after that game.
Vinny, you should have seen it yesterday. Beer Baron was in rare form.
Oh, my goodness. It's also,
Apparently he was able to be heard on the television on last night's game. So we're going to have to go back.
It's a small arena. That's why.
Well, and that's the best part. When you're there, the players hear you, and it's probably caught on camera. So we're going to have to go back and watch that third period, Vinny, because we're gonna be looking for what for hearing what Beer Baron said, because it was full of frustration.
Yeah, brimming with frustration.
Oh, absolutely.
Here comes Sam and Ken Daneyko.
Oh my God! Yeah, we got Ken Daneyko coming on.
Ken Daneyko's walking over. So last night was a frustrating game. Today, I'm hoping that they wake up. I know this is a quick turnaround, 2 games in under 24 hours.
Yeah. We're gonna have to ask Kenny what that's like.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Being a former player there and doing this.
And speaking of which,
look at this.
Beer Baron, before he comes on, I'm going to say when we're done later, I'm going to go back and listen to that third. Now I'm going to listen for it.
And Sam, you want to introduce our special guest that really doesn't need any introduction here?
Yeah, he doesn't really need any introduction. He is Mr. Devil himself, Ken Daneyko. How are you?
I'm okay, guys. How are you?
Doing
quite
good.
the tailgate as they always
Yeah.
have here in Vegas for an early game. I'd like it to be a little bit warmer, but
Yes,
That's what we were just saying, yeah.
it's been pretty crazy. It's packed around here, and it's always nice to see.
Oh, absolutely.
And
And
what?
this is Vinny from Chicago. He's on the monitor right now.
What's up, Vinny?
Hey, Ken, how you doing? Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Good to be on with you guys.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we appreciate it.
we were just talking about how drastic of a difference it is to go from the mullet yesterday, and now playing in the probably one of the brightest stadiums in the entire league.
Yeah.
Does that affect the players going from one place like that to here?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, look, I think more so. Look, yesterday we had great sight lines while we were calling the game, so that was pretty awesome. 9 rows up, just watching. Obviously, didn't like the results whatsoever. Again, is what it is. It's been a tough year, but I think more for the Coyotes players. I mean, look, it's a great college arena. It was fun there, but when you hold 4,600 fans, and hopefully for the Coyotes, they get their new arena. I know they're bidding on some land in North Phoenix here, and they certainly would like to play in a regular National Hockey League sized facility and with all the amenities. But it was a good experience for me. That's the first time I'd been at Mullet Arena, and it was certainly different. But the ice sheet's the same, and you got to go out and perform. And the Coyotes played better and won the hockey game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from a player standpoint, Kenny, back-to-backs I got to imagine are tough. But a back-to-back like this, where you're playing twice in like less than 24 hours, what's that on the players' end?
Yeah, this is a tough spot for sure. And Vegas didn't play yesterday, and they've been kind of up and down season for them after winning the Stanley Cup. But I've seen that before where you just get in the playoffs, but you're able to turn on the switch. Teams that I played on, and certainly the 95 team where we kind of sauntered into the playoffs. But when you've won, you understand what it takes. And they're going to want to get their game going. Obviously, the last 20 games you want to kind of round into form, and so this is a tough spot for the Devils, but you've got to find a way. And again, it's all about the first periods. They've got to start better. It's been rough all year long as far as figuring out how to have a good first, how to get that first goal, and like I said, it's just something that you. If I had a magic formula, I'd wave it over all of them. Just like the rest of the fans, I'd like to be better. And players want to start well, want to play well. They say the right things in the room. It just hasn't happened this season for whatever reason. And for them to go back-to-back in less than 24 hours, you've got to play a simple, smart game, especially at the start where you're just not making a lot of high-risk plays, and that's something they haven't done very well this season. So let's see if they can come in here and surprise Vegas, but you do anything, find a way like they did in Dallas to win a hockey game.
Yeah. And they find themselves 6 points out from the second wild card today. With the amount of games remaining on the schedule, do you feel like they have what it takes to make that push?
I always have hope. I mean, I always think like a player. I mean, obviously they haven't been able to string a winning streak together for the better part of all season, really, and we know that. So they haven't given a reason to say, okay, they're going to go on a 5-game winning streak and get right back in it. But as players, it's one game, one shift, one goal that can spark you, and something happens, and you turn it around. And what better time than with, 15, 16 games left here. But I'm always one of those guys that will believe till the end, until you're mathematically eliminated.
Yep.
But make no mistake, it's going to be difficult with how jam-packed it is around them. And, the other teams haven't been winning as much as well in their division. So kind of the door's always open, but you got to win your own games. That's the bottom line. You got to win your own games.
Yeah, you don't want to rely on
somebody
else
to be there.
lose.
So it's been needless to say, a little bit tough to string those wins together all year long. I'm not going to make an excuse injuries has been a big part of that.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, man, you look, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind when a player's out all year, but boy, do they miss Dougie Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, he's just that guy, a game changer on the blue line, in particular offensively and on the power play,
For sure.
which has struggled.
Yeah, and Luke wouldn't have the minutes that he has right now because you definitely would think that Dougie would be taking at least a portion of those minutes away from Luke.
Well, yeah, absolutely he would. I mean, especially when the power play, hasn't been successful the last month or whatever it may be. It's been a while here where they've had opportunities to win games in the power play alone, and some 5-minute majors a couple times against the Rangers yesterday.
Yep.
The power play had an opportunity to get them right in it, and for whatever reason, they just can't find a way. Like last year, where everything went perfect, and I always remind fans that the leap they took last year would have been probably nicer to happen this year. You go from as low as they were to breaking records and wins and points in the next season in the history of the National Hockey League. Well, it gets a lot tougher. Expectations higher. Teams understand how to play a lot better. They don't take you for granted. They don't take you lightly, and we've seen that all season long. But I believe in the core, believe in the group. Are they going to have to fill some holes along the way in the offseason? Of course. I mean, that's natural, and goaltending something they want to solidify. A lot of times, I don't think people understand is it's easier said than done to make a deal. I mean, I read sometimes online, we'll just give them this guy and that guy and this guy.
Wait.
Like we're going to be able to give whoever we want. I mean,
Yeah.
to get a good player, you got to trade a couple of good players.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're not in the room. We're not on the phone. They have a deal done, and it blows up last second. These things happen all the time, and I know Fitzy's worked diligently the last 2 months, 6 weeks anyway, to try to find a goaltender. But, we got 2 veterans now that at least you can, even though we're 1 and 2 since they've come here. I mean, and Jake Allen had a great performance
Great start.
after a real
Start-
tough start.
I'd
I'm
love to
going,
get to that game,
which way is this going to go? But,
similar
giving up
thought.
2 goals in the first 3 shots and then stopping 36 straight. But you can tell the difference in veteran goaltenders. And by the way, the young goalies like a Dawes or a Schmid, I mean, that's all part of the growing pains and experience. I think they've both got really good potential. And Dawes came in yesterday. It was great to see. These are all learning curves for young players. I mean, he came in and was solid, didn't give up anything, gave them a chance. Unfortunately, the Devils' offense has been like this and up and down. You get 6 in Dallas, and you only get 1 yesterday. And I always preface, regardless where teams are in the standings, Arizona played a really good first period.
Yes.
They were zipping the puck around. They've got a lot of good young talent. Doesn't mean they're going to be consistent. That's why they are where they are. They're trying to build towards something, just like the Devils last year. But when you've got Kellers and Coolies and Gunthers and playing the way they did in the first 20, they really blitzed the Devils. And that's something they got to be more prepared for. They've got to be better. That's the bottom line. But you mentioned Luke Hughes, too. Young guys, you're right. They're getting invaluable experience. And, is it a little maybe too much too soon because of injuries that we talked about with Hamilton and whatnot? Absolutely. But when I see those 2 guys, I can't wait to see where they're at in their 3rd season kind of thing. And you navigate your way through the National Hockey League as far as what I can and can't do, whether the way to balance out moving the puck quicker, jumping in the offense, or maybe making a more simple play along the way. And you can talk to young guys. I was a young guy. We all went through it. I went through it way back in my playing days, where they'll tell you something, but you always you find out from going through those experiences, and you want to do it your way for a while until it settles in. But it's always for a young guy when it clicks. You go, you can feel it. And they've shown flashes of brilliance, I think, of both those young defensemen, but they're kids. So there's going to be mistakes and learning curves along the way, which we've seen.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
So, Vinny, do you have any questions?
Yeah, of course.
Come on, Vinny.
Thanks again for coming
I feel
on.
bad. We keep talking, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Vinny's there. Sorry, buddy.
No, guys, it's totally cool. When Mr. Devil's on, we got to let him talk. But so when you see the Devils, they get a big win over a team like the Dallas Stars. A lot of people consider them a Stanley Cup contender. We've seen the Devils play well against good teams this season, especially on the road. And then you have a letdown against a team that comes into the game 28th in the league. Is that a testament to how deep even some of the worst teams in the league are, or is there something going on with the Devils that maybe, why do they play better against better oppositions and then have letdowns against these lower level teams?
I think it's a combination of both. I mean, obviously, I feel right now the National Hockey League and the competitive balance is at an all-time high. So regardless who you play, if you don't come prepared or you don't execute, yesterday, again, I've seen it, most of the season really, were just a simple 5 to 7 foot pass, tape to tape. I mean, a lot of times we're seeing it in the skates and the heels, or on the heel of the stick, or just out of reach. A lot of almost, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Last year, we didn't see that. Everything was just flowing and crisp and clean. But again, that's because teams are prepared for them as well. They defend better. They don't allow the Devils speed in transition as much, and that's the learning curve this young group has for this season moving forward. And if they learn from it, they can be a good team for a long time. Again, like I said, adding a few pieces here and there, but you learn that nothing comes easy. Subconsciously, you say all the right things going into camp. You prepare yourself, then you can't prepare for injuries. You can't prepare for the goaltending, which was solid all year last year for the most part.
Yep.
To go through their struggles along the way, and then, like I said, I don't like beating up players or even the goaltending, because these are kids. They went through some really good stretches. Dawes did, 4 or 5 games in a row, and Akira Schmid, he's the Mariano Rivera of goalies if he figures it out to how to start the game consistently. Because if you look at his record, I don't know if people have really looked coming into a game from last year and this year. I mean, his numbers are remarkable. And that's a good sign for a young goalie, where he's got a lot of calmness to his game, where I think his save percentage is over .950, and that's in double-digit games from last year, coming in relief when the Devils are behind and they need a spark or a goaltending change. But those are things they've got to learn. But the leagues, every team's got so much talented skill. The Sharks are maybe the only team still going through that massive rebuild, and they've, let alone their top player Couture's out of the lineup with injury. So, but their goaltender, and that's can happen any game, stole the game in New Jersey, really. I mean, he stood I think it was it Kakinen?
It was Kakinen.
Who we got way back when. It seems a long time ago.
Oh, it does.
But again, it's no excuses. They've got had to be better all season. They haven't been yet, but you still always hold out that little hope that they're going to put 5 wins in a row together. But the league right now, to me, is very balanced. You're not going to beat anybody if you're not on your game going into it.
And parity's great, because you need that. You need to have that balance, because if you had the teams that couldn't compete with the bigger clubs like a Vegas, then it doesn't help the league at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Las Vegas even this year, I mean, for all intents and purposes, looks like they're going to get in, but they're still making sure and battling.
The looking in.
They're the Stanley Cup champs, but teams prepare for them better. You let your guard down a little bit. I was on teams no different. We won the Stanley Cup in '95 and didn't make the playoffs in '96, and it was left to the last game of the season. I mean, I was devastated. I was in tears, because we knew if we got in, we were going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
But we left it to chance, and we end up losing to the Ottawa Senators, who weren't a very good team at home last game of the year. Not to reminisce, but but that's kind of, that part doesn't change from way back to now, where you've got to be the unpredictability. You've got to be ready every night, and then. But that was again a learning curve for our team, a team that won a Stanley Cup, to catapult to the top and go to the Cup 3 more times and win a couple of times. Doesn't mean it's always going to materialize, but we were a really solid team my last 6-7 years after that, as far as after not making the playoffs, and it's shocking when it happens. But you see Vegas going through it this year. But I always believe